Do you know the 10 richest countries in the world? The old beauty is not ranked at all. The first poor person only has money left. No one is willing to bend over to pick up $10,000 thrown on the ground. Medical education is free of charge, and it's tax-free nationwide. The next installment of the Super Factory, we will take you to explore the 10 richest countries in the world. Please long press like, comment, plus subscribe. 10th place, San Marino. GDP per capita 65,000 USD. This is a quiet to make a great fortune quietly. Many people may not have heard of this country. Total land area of San Marino, only 60.7 square kilometers. The population is only 30,000. It is also the third smallest country in Europe, the fifth smallest country in the world. Although it is placed outside, this is a very unremarkable small country, but he is one of the richest countries in Europe. This country not only has too much money to spend, he is still one of the few countries in China, because around the land of San Marino, it's all Italian territory. This country is also very famous for its stamps. Their country stamps are very distinctive. The board design is very distinctive. Printing standards are also among the highest in the world. Stamps have been around for over 130 years. Although San Marino has a small population, but there are more than 3 million tourists here. This country's the second largest source of income is tourism here. The number one source of income is the Bank of San Marino. Banks are also the root cause of this country's prosperity. Therefore, it is also known as a tax evasion center. 9. Switzerland GDP per capita 80,000 USD. Living in Switzerland, it's hard not to be rich. Switzerland isn't that big either. The population has only 8 million, and it has no outlet. So why is Switzerland so rich? The answer is because of neutrality. Switzerland is one of the few neutral countries. Will not participate in any national conflict, so he managed to avoid 2 world wars. When other countries, when you were still fighting to the death. Switzerland is secretly developing indecently. The majority of Switzerland's income comes from banks. Financial industry. UBS is sure most of you will be familiar with this. And again, because Switzerland is neutral. No war. So his bank is the safest. So many countries before going to war will deposit money in Swiss banks. War countries are at war when you die. Switzerland is making steady money. Switzerland is surrounded by many wealthy countries. Germany, Italy. The wealthy in France and Australia. Most people deposit their money in Swiss banks. This country uses this method. It has developed step by step to the present. If you become wealthy, would you choose to deposit your money in a Swiss bank? 8th, Brunei GDP per capita 85,000 USD. This country is Southeast Asia, the richest countries. His population is only about 430,000. Among them, Chinese make up 10%. The Chinese in Brunei are almost all descendants of the Hokkien people. If you can speak Hokkien, then you go to Brunei. You don't have to worry about language barriers. Fellow everywhere. Brunei's economy mainly relies on oil and gas. Well known. As long as countries that are involved in oil, they are all first-class rich. These 2 resources. It is also Brunei's economic pillar and source of income. In Southeast Asia, its oil production is second only to Indonesia. In second place, rely on these abundant resources to generate income. Wenli provided free education, free medical care. We have also established a sound social welfare system. Many products are free. The people of this country, you don't have to worry about food and clothing from birth, because these are born free. The richest people in Brunei are the royal family. Porkaya, head of Brunei. The place where I live is a golden Numan Palace. The entire palace is made of gold. He is also known as the most wayward local tyrant in the world. Porkia's collection is almost all the luxury cars and sports cars in the world. To drive these cars, he was also specially in his palace. They built a racetrack. 7th, Norway GDP per capita 90,000 US dollars. The country of Norway is a happiness index. Very high country. On average, out of every 8 people, there's a guy with a private yacht. RV on the road. There are yachts on the water. If the happiness index is not high, there is a problem with people. Norway takes education very seriously. Most people in this country have received higher education. The welfare of the common people is also very good. Natural resources are also abundant. Norway is also the largest in Europe. Producing and exporting countries. The output of the United States ranks second in the world. Most ferrosilicon alloy products are exported. It is also the third largest oil exporter in the world. This bunch of titles Even if you say you have no money, I don't think anyone would believe it. Norway still legislated in 1990. The government oil fund was established. Make money from oil. All the money withdrawn is deposited into this fund and can only be used for investment in overseas markets. The fund has now been renamed Global Pension Fund. It is also the world's largest sovereign wealth fund. They have stakes in over 9,000 companies. This includes Apple's as well. Well-known companies such as Microsoft and Samsung. It is said that with this huge fund, Norway consistently ranks in the top 10 in the world. Reason exporting country, but not like other countries. Due to the fluctuations in oil prices, the economy is in trouble. 6th place Kuwait, GDP per capita 100,000 USD. The currency of Kuwait is the world currency, the most valuable over the dollar, euro, or even pound. But although this currency is very valuable, but the circulation is very low. Many banks do not have exchange business. Only some designated banks can exchange it. Kuwait has the largest oil field in the world. Shale oil field. Crude oil production once reached to 0.95 per million barrels per day. Due to being a major oil producer, so gasoline prices are very low. Kuwait's welfare is not just for Kuwaits. There are some benefits, as long as in Kuwait, those who live can enjoy the same, such as fuel subsidies, although this country is rich in oil. However, the entire region of the country is without a single water lake, so they are also the most water-scarce country in the world. Water costs more than gasoline here, although there is also a lot of groundwater. But the groundwater also thinks it has no water to drink. It's a snack for them. Because they have money, people can buy water from neighboring countries at high prices. It is because of too much money. People have no need for money, so people become lazier. The World Health Organization has released a report list of the laziest countries in the world. The country at the top of the list is Kuwait. Data shows that Kuwaitis exercise very little. 67% of residents rarely participate in sports. 5th Ireland, GDP per capita $105,000. Owner 5.15 million population. Berlin, it is a highly developed capitalist country. Or the European Union, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, members of the World Trade Organization and the United Nations. And it is also the speed of world economic development, one of the fastest countries. Due to its advanced economy, it has won the reputation of the European tiger. The per capita income in Ireland is twice that of the UK. Every year there are nearly 5,000 people in Ireland called a millionaire. Therefore, it has also attracted a large amount of foreign investment, just like Microsoft, big companies like Google. Ireland has almost no pollution. The air quality is excellent. Forest coverage is not high, but meadows are everywhere. River length. The ecological environment is very good because of high benefits, so Irish people don't have to work as much. I spend most of my time at home with my family and enjoying life. This landscape is beautiful. Small country living in abundance. It is the first choice for most immigrants. 4th Singapore, GDP per capita 105,000 USD. The total population is 5.6 per million. Singapore is a developed country in Asia. Known as one of the 4 Asian tigers, its economic model is called state capitalism. According to 2014 Global Financial Centers Index Ranking Report, Singapore City and New York, the 3rd largest international financial center after London. It is also an important service and shipping center in Asia, one of the cities of Singapore, member of the Union of Southeast Asia Nations. It is also the World Trade Organization, the Commonwealth and Asia, members of the Pacific Economic Cooperation, one of the economies. For us Chinese, Singapore has a natural affinity for us. After all, they are our relatives. In the past few decades, every time a natural or man-made disaster occurs in our country, Singaporean Chinese will generously help, donate money and things. Although Singapore is a small country, but their tourism industry, financial industry, it consists of the product manufacturing industry and the electronics manufacturing industry is very developed, and he's guarding the Strait of Malacca. Countless ships pass by every day, just charging these fees. It's a very respectable income. 3rd place Luxembourg, GDP per capita 140,000 USD. That's about twice as much as the US. Located in northwest Europe, east of Germany, south by France. The west and north are bordered by Belgium. Land area of 2,586.3 square kilometers. Total population 645,000. Due to its changing topography, in history, it is at the heart of Germany and France. The terrain is always dangerous. It is an important military fortress in Western Europe, the title of Gibraltar by the north. Luxembourg was unified in 963 AD. 15th to 18th century experience in Spain. Rule of France and Austria. It became a Grand Duchy in 1815. Became a neutral country in 1867. Abandoned neutrality in 1948. In front of Luxembourg. Switzerland is a little brother. Luxembourg is a famous steel powerhouse. The world's largest iron ore resources are buried underground. It is a country lying on a treasure of iron ore. Iron ore reserves up to 270 million tons, so Luxembourg depends on this alone. It developed into the most powerful steel in the world. Iron industry, and it drove the economy of the whole country. Then there is the development of the tourism industry. With the title of the country of 1,000 treasures, 70% of the country is covered by trees. The air quality is very high. Second place, Dubai, GDP per capita 150,000 USD. Dubai is one of the global international financial centers. Became the East Bridge between Western capital markets. Owns the world's first 7-star hotel. Burj Al Arab, the world's tallest skyscraper, the Burj Khalifa. The world's largest shopping mall. The world's largest indoor ski resort. With active real estate. Features that are near world records, such as race talks. Attracted the attention of the world. Dubai is home to over 1,000 luxury shopping malls. It's a women's paradise. In Dubai, even the police drive Lamborghinis. And some people say, begging in Dubai earns hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. The country is half desert and half ocean. Therefore, their import and export trade is very developed. First, Saudi Arabia, GDP per capita 25,000 USD. Total population 34.81 million. Saudi City is a veritable oil kingdom. Oil reserves and production rank first in the world, making it one of the richest countries in the world. Saudi City, the world's largest producer of desalinated seawater. Its seawater desalination accounts for about 21% of the world's total. Saudi Arabia implements a liberal economic policy. The seller is the founder of Islam, birthplace of Muhammad. It's the Muslims who march to the Holy Land. Saudi Arabia is so rich. Why is the per capita income of the people so low? This is because the wealth in Saudi Arabia is concentrated in the royal family. There are still many poor people in this country. You need government handouts to survive. Although his per capita GDP is not ranked, but he can't stand it. Is the royal family rich? Saudi Arabia relies solely on oil exports every year. $200 billion in revenue. Foreign exchange reserves are also perennially at about $600 billion. Saudi Arabia doesn't have to make its own weapons at all because he can buy the world all advanced weapons. And Saudi Arabia's oil reserves are still recoverable. 70 to 100 years. Enough to feed 3 or 5 generations.